Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious. You can join us in broadening our minds on the Nameless Debates Discord via the link below, and even feature here yourself, if you've got what it takes.
Will. Truth, right?
Hold. Changing to other headphones.
Okay. Where are we?
I'm gonna hop on the other chat and see what Zycron's saying.
Alright. So. What up?
He said, "What up?" In sync.
Sorry. What's going on?
I got fucking called in here, man.
Yeah, it's just to talk about truth, right?
Truth stems from ultimately and essentially the way people think and act at its core, because it's not predicated on anything except various arbitrary choices that stem from particular epistemological methods that we can choose to use but aren't necessary.
That's an interesting opinion.
It is an interesting opinion.
So, when you're talking about
wait,
truth,
you don't
right?
want to talk about that, but you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the ability to make claims about a noumena.
Well, I don't think there is such a thing as noumena. That's exactly the point of me thinking your conceptualization of truth is interesting, because it seems rather flawed.
So, explain to me how you don't think there's a noumena. Can you unpack exactly what you mean by that statement?
For sure, like, if you're saying that there is such a thing as a world which is unknowable to the mind, isn't that statement some knowledge of it?
I don't. So when
like,
we're
by
talking
definition,
noumena,
if the predication were accurate,
sure. If
it's
we're talking,
inaccurate.
when I say noumena, I obviously don't mean a world that is unknowable to the mind, because it's an idiotic statement, because the predication basically precedes itself. When I use the word noumena, I mean a world in of itself, which is how it's used.
That is not how it's used. Like, because
Yes,
the point is, no, it's not. No, phenomena, right? That's the world that we know, and then noumena is the world that we cannot know.
No, that's
Yes.
what can't get to, but that's not how.
Oh, come on, dude. You can't fucking separate them. Like, the guy who came up with it conceptualized it as unknowable.
But that's not okay. Those
So
aren't
listen, I'm saying the guy who came up with it conceptualized it as unknowable, so you using the term tells me you think it's unknowable. I don't think it, which is why I do not use the term.
Okay, so noumena, the word, doesn't come with the definition, the world that's unknowable by the mind. It comes with the definition, world in of itself.
As distinct from a thing as it is knowable.
As distinct as of a thing known through experience of a human mind.
Yes, so as in you can't know it through the human mind.
Operant word, experience.
No, because it says... What? No, it says, as it is knowable by the senses through phenomenal attributes. Now, the way that Kant conceptualized what the subject was, right, tells us that everything in the subject was their phenomenological experience. So,
sure,
like,
and that's how Kant arrived at it.
If you could... So, no, but I don't understand how you're making a distinction between the things. He came up with it.
That's fine, but no one passed that. We're having it when you and I are having the discussion. If I'm using that definition, it gets us nowhere.
Right. Look. I'll accept noumena means the thing in itself. Yeah, of course I believe in that, dude.
There we go. Because it gets us
That's
nowhere.
What I'm saying is true. The noumena is the truth that isn't described by your initial description.
There we go. Because I understand that you believe that thing exists, so I don't use that definition. It doesn't work. That is literally all I meant. Now,
no, but like
assertion.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. No, finish.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, what we've talked about truth in the past, right? If you believe in the noumena, then that seems to be what I would say you're missing in your conception of truth.
I don't think it's missing, because any type of usage, anytime we actually make use of what we think is the noumena, it's really just intersubjective reality.
No, I agree, but here's what I'm saying. You don't have to make use of what we think it is. You can just say, there is something that is actually true in and of itself. That is a true claim.
There is no. We're not making any claims to it. We're making claims about an intersubjective reality.
I know, but I'm saying, listen. I'm saying maybe we can make further claims from the one that I just said. Okay, I'm saying that claim, that is a sound claim. You can say there actually is something that is true.
No, but by your logic, you could hypothetically eventually make a claim that it was 100% accurate about the noumena.
No, I'm saying, like, you can make some claims about the noumena from the first claim, right? You can derive a couple of more claims. You can think about what the thing in itself is and what things are in our conceptualization of them. You can try to analyze it further than we've done before, and you can arrive at an understanding of what a thing in itself is,
but
right?
These things already Go ahead. Sorry, Fen. I'm interrupted you. Sorry.
Yeah, if you could articulate the formula for a thing in itself accurately, even if you could not know it or ever demonstrate that your description was accurate, then what you would be doing would be describing what's actually true, which is a type of truth that you're not accounting for in your epistemological evaluation.
So what I'm saying is that, one, we don't need to account for it because, A, every single use that you're talking about is achieved equally through intersubjective reality. Science does this. Every other method.
No, because I'm saying there's a distinction outside of that, though.
Following that, I'm saying what you're talking about, I'm not seeing how you're actually arriving at a possibility to make a claim of this, because to even talk about this externality already rests on a conceptualization of an externality, which is hinging on a human process. I don't know. You're talking about
because we agreed it wasn't, the definition we're using isn't unknowable by a human process.
That's fine. I'm not saying that it is unknowable necessarily, but I'm saying that the idea of this thing is already resting in of itself in concept.
For sure. Look, I agree. And here's what I'm saying. I'm saying, if I'm not making sense, stop me. But until I'm not making sense, let's just see where we can go.
That's why I'm asking you, how do you jump this barrier of already having this thing rest in a concept?
Because conceptualizations can be accurate even if you do not know how they are. Even if you... Listen, you can have an idea which is accurate, even if you do not know that it is accurate, even if you have no way to test it's accurate, even if there's no way for you to, directly understand it. For instance, right, the theories of relativity we use to understand physics, right, it's not as if that was obvious, you know what I mean? But it was accurate before he came up with them. There is a truth that transcends the intersubjective perception of the world. The way the world is more true.
When you're making said claim, you have to start with yourself, correct?
Of course, yes.
So ultimately, the claim you're making rests in of yourself, correct?
Yes.
So when you're saying that this theory of relativity transcends this truth, and you can make said claim as a concept, and it can be accurate to this transcendent truth, but this transcendent truth is a truth you know through your own conceptual experience. How are you comparing these concepts to this transcendent truth when the only thing you know of this transcendent truth are conceptual concepts that you have come through post priori, through experience?
By analyzing the concepts rigorously and rejecting anything that isn't sufficiently valid. So there are not many. We agreed before. We agreed before, right? There are not many predications you can make about such a thing which we would have any reason to consider seriously. But I actually gave you an example, so why don't you deal with that one, right?
Which example is that?
Reason. It was, there is such a thing that is actually true in and of itself. Try to refute that claim.
You would have to demonstrate that thing.
It is demonstrated. You are here. I am here. We are talking.
I'm not sure if that's necessarily evident that this is in of itself. I don't think.
No. I'm saying there is something. There is something that has to be true in and of itself for there to be anything at all.
I'm willing to accept that for any epistemological claim, we can start with the experience of self. I mean,
No, that's not what I said.
Self.
I said ontologically. Okay, ontologically, things have to exist for your experience to be here, buddy.
Would you like to explain how that's accurate?
Yeah, so either your experience ontologically exists, or you are not here.
What would
There is no
constitute being
here, there is no you. There is no here, there is no you, there is no conversation, there's no Discord, there's no space, there's no environment.
I'm not sure how that follows.
I'm back.
It does. Ontologically, if you do not exist, you do not exist.
So you understand that when you're talking about disclaims, again, you're starting with yourself. You're trying to make
what's ontology? What's ontology, Will?
the study of an essence of a thing, or the being of a thing.
No.
What is it then? Can you?
Would
Yes,
you
it's the study of the first principles of being, of existence. What's the basis of existences?
Okay, so perhaps
So ontologically, what is the basis? Can you so?
Yeah, I mean, I could. I do actually have an idea about that, but I'm sort of trying to ease into
hold
that.
on. Pause. Could you explain how that's different than essence, or how basis is different than essence? Because I'm not sure I follow how that's.
I feel like
because you said it's about the essence of a thing, and it's not about the essence of a thing.
Basis is different from essence, because I'm not sure I'm following.
Because thing is quite a generic word. I'm talking about the thing, which is the fact that things exist, right? The existence of things, as in what things fundamentally are, not what your conceptualization of things as we know them are.
That's a fair distinction. That's a fair point. I feel like essence is more general, and he's talking very specific, right?
The issue that I present here is, again, when you're saying that things don't exist, okay, and you're saying that there has to be a thing for a thing to exist, I'm not sure how it follows that ontologically
You're not listening. Yeah, you're not listening. The fact that you would use the same words like that shows that you're trying to make a mockery of the position.
No,
there has to be. No, listen.
That's why
there has to be a thing. Do you really? You think I said there has to be a thing for a thing to exist?
Okay, can you repeat your position, please?
That's what I'm asking. Can you repeat?
I said there has to be something which is true, right? There is a state of affairs which is in and of itself true in order for your experience to exist.
So I already said that I'm happy to concede that everything begins with myself.
No, you're describing subjective conceptualization. I'm not describing anything to do with your goddamn self. I'm saying, independent of anything to do with you or me or a subjective conceptualization of reality, ontologically, abstractly, concerning what it takes to exist, I'm saying that for your experience to be here, for you to be arguing with me, you presuppose the notion that there is actually something true.
I actually am not sure. I don't see how that follows at all. I don't see how that's necessary.
Unless you presuppose there is something true, you do not act, you do not perceive yourself as a being, you do not have an existence or an experience.
Could you break that down a little? Could you break that down?
I think. Hold on.
Either you perceive your perception to be true, or you do not perceive.
So hold on. When we're talking about things that are true and whatnot, we use them in terms of their effect on us. I'm hearing.
Either you perceive your perception to be true, or you do not perceive.
When you say true, what are you saying by true? What do you mean by that word?
You take it to be something which is.
Okay, that's not really a definition.
It exists. So it has a positive ontological state.
So either you perceive or you don't perceive.
Can I posit a separate definition which completely sidesteps the need for this, and that is which has that.
Did you say sidesteps the need for ontology, dude?
Yeah, sidestep. So let's sidestep.
It's sort of absurdity
of everything. Yeah. Let's just
go.
There
is no need for this sort of absurd externality that you're posing.
Just because you can't figure out how it makes sense doesn't mean that it's absurd.
Like, it does.
I mean,
Will Taft in a bath. It does kind
you
of.
can just
make
call me
sense.
Will, mate.
Okay, Will. It does kind of make sense that either something needs to be true in and of itself, or the truth, like the property of truth assigned to anything at all, would not have a justification, right?
That's
It's
because
kind of like, hold on. It's kind of like Gödel's incompleteness theorem, right? Either a axiom needs to be true onto itself in order to define the rest of the axioms, or you can't discover all of the axioms and there's no basis for like how to complete that system.
So I
right?
think there's a misconstrual here and exactly what's being used here for epistemology and method. Because when you're talking about a thing that exists, it's a thing that has an effect on you. That is how we make any claims about anything. Would we
No,
agree
that's
here?
a phenomenological existence.
Hold on.
So
We could
how
Do you know what
generalize
the
the-
difference is?
So
Hold
how
on,
do you know?
no.
How do you know anything? How do you make a claim to anything else that doesn't have any sort of effect, if you will?
Abstractly.
So
like,
these
we
abstract.
We could generalize this entire discussion into something like Gödel's incompleteness theorem or a bunch of other completeness theorems, right? That's how you could generalize this to any idea, right? Like, the axioms of existence, there must be an axiom that is true onto itself in order to justify the property of truth assigned to any other axiom within existence.
Yes,
Why
that
is
is
this
exactly accurate. Because
Because the axioms of a system need to explain that system in order for the property of truth to be applied to things within that system, right? Like, it's classic Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Except what we've done is we've abstracted truthness into a sense that it no longer applies to us.
How so?
Because, again, in any sense of the word, when we're talking about truth, we're talking about a thing which has an effect on us. And when I say effect, I don't simply mean like empirically instinct, Matt. I'm talking about
No, dude. Like, if you mean when you say like you think of something that has an effect on you as in something that you can apprehend phenomenologically, then I'm saying you can apprehend phenomenologically things to which you have no direct perceptual experience.
You understand that concepts have an effect on you as well, correct?
Are you aware of the fact that you can abstractly reason about concepts that do not exist in your environment?
Are you aware that these concepts still have an effect on you?
That's irrelevant, though. The effect that they have on you is not the point of the predication.
But it's the point that I'm trying to make here, that they still have an effect on you, which is how we know them.
No, but it's not. First of all, that's a very slack use of the word "no," and second of all, like when we're talking about why we're thinking about them, it's not because they have an effect on you that you're thinking about them. It's because they could be true.
Okay, so when these things come to us, when these concepts, these stem from us, they stem to us, however you'd like to begin the chain of events. Regardless, at some point there's a concept, and that concept is going to affect how we understand the world and how we act and how we behave. Okay? And regardless of how you want to define truth, that concept is going to impact how we perceive that truth. You follow?
Give it to me again.
So, however you want to start the chain of events for a concept, whether or not you come to it or it comes to you, it doesn't really matter. That concept is going to frame all of the understanding you have of a thing, of the world around you. And yes, world around you, externality, but for the sake of discussion, it makes it a lot easier. The world. And so this is going to impact how you think and how you feel and how you behave. And this is essentially going to be the truth that I'm talking about for a very simplistic take. So when we're discussing these things, what I'm saying is this constitutes an effect. This concept constitutes an effect. So that's what I'm saying when I'm talking effect. I just wanted to clarify exactly what I meant there when I said effect in an abstract conceptual sense.
No, but I think the fact that you're referring to the effect it has on you is completely besides the point.
But you still understand that this concept okay.
No, but it seems irrelevant. The effect it has on you seems irrelevant.
That's not sure how concepts having an
I'm
effect
talking
on
about
knowledge.
I'm talking about. Stop talking about knowledge in that way, dude. I'm talking about like what effect it has on your evaluation, not on you, not on what you know.
Okay, so I
I'm
guess
not
we could hold on. I guess we could say with the kind of analogy of Gödel's incompleteness theorem, right? If you're an axiom in the system, right, and the axiom of you doesn't necessarily need to be true unto itself in order to assign the property of truth onto all the other axioms, right? There must be some
But-
other axiom that is true unto itself to assign the property
okay.
of truth
I
onto you.
don't see why you're starting with these systems and assuming that they precede us. I don't understand why you're predicating all of our actions
I'm
on
just-
these things.
I'm
You
just
understand that these
starting.
are
Because
systems
that's what ontology is. It's not
But you understand
phenomenology.
that you
It's
understand
not.
that these
It's
are
not. We're not.
systems.
Dude. We're not doing a phenomenological analysis right now.
I
I'm
get
starting
that,
with
but you
something
understand that each of these
concrete.
systems are still stemming from phenomenological processes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you
Jesus.
in that sense, right? But I'm starting from some concrete mathematical basis that I can form an argument from, right? I'm not starting with like, oh, well, I feel this and I feel that and this relative
It doesn't
to
need
me,
to be
right?
just
This is my experience.
Because I understand that no matter what, I would still be I'd still be a piece of information within that system that Gödel could describe, right? So his ideas still hold true even if I'm in the system, right?
That's okay. So the idea of the system that you've constructed is a conceptualization of processes. This not okay. It's not necessary that this is the only functionality of experience.
Okay, well, it still doesn't remove the fact that I would be part of the system, and if that idea that he had holds true.
It's only a fact. It is only a fact if it's currently having effect on you and your perception of it.
I think your focus on that specific part of it is really flawed.
Hold on. It would be absurd to say that I am not a piece. I'm not a set of information within the system that is the universe. That would be an absurd claim that I'm.
Okay, so let's posit a question. Hold on, I'm going to posit a question real quick. Does evolution exist as a conceptualization of phenomena? And when I say phenomena, like occurrences, or does it exist as a tangible thing?
Yes, it's a description of tangible stuff.
Okay, so it's a series of things that have collected together and we've conceptualized it.
Yeah.
But it's conceivable that had we collected different types of data, that we could have actually had different theories that like grouped it elsewhere, and we would have had like split it down the middle and grouped half of it with another theory and half of it with another theory. Yeah.
I guess that's a possibility. Yeah.
Exactly. And
not if you consider evolution to be the most accurate one.
Okay, well, it's still a possibility. Like it hypothetically could.
You understand that this is again a conceptualization of data. That it's not.
Yeah, like it hypothetically could be conceived in a different way.
For sure, you could conceive of it in a different way, but it's not like your interpretation of it is not connected to like the.
When you say most accurate, what are you comparing it to?
Listen. So there's a pattern. There's a pattern. No, the pattern of nature that actually occurred, dude. The thing that is responsible. Yeah, so there's a pattern. Listen. No, not the pattern of the observance. Listen very carefully. You don't do a good job of this. Ready? The pattern of nature, which is responsible. Wait, no, shut the fuck up! The pattern of nature, which is responsible for the patterns we observe.
Can you explain how nature exists regardless of our observance, considering that it's something that we've literally described?
Yeah, of course. Nature is everything that exists, insofar as the elements. Insofar as that's what nature is. Nature is the entire world, everything that is, the entire system of existent objects. All right. If we're talking about how nature exists before we conceptualize it, well, if we believe evolution, presumably the bits that we evolved out of existed before we conceived of them.
That is a conceptualization of phenomena.
No, but the point is, it's a fact that it must have been true. The conceptualization must have had the conceptualization.
You understand that I can actually still function and do these things without me taking it as some externality, right?
Okay,
Dude,
hold on.
The conceptualization, which wasn't there, was in principle already true if we evolved. The theory of evolution that we conceptualized afterwards was true before we conceptualized.
You're making
That
an
is a
empirical
fact.
claim. You're making an
No,
you're making an epistemological
that's
claim that you literally have no basis for.
It's inductive.
Okay,
How
guys, we're getting off track, right? Okay, assuming that your mind or whatever, your perception, your observation, is a system of information that interacts with the outside world, right?
That's an assumption that's not necessary. It's
Okay, well, either way, right? Your mind is a system of information that interacts with the outside world, right? I'm sure we can agree on that, right?
It's a conceptualization because when we talk about an externality, that's a word I'm already presenting a problem with the idea.
Stop fucking insisting on that.
Okay, therefore, the system of information that makes up this whole, like the basis of this whole conversation, we can apply Gödel's incompleteness theorem to that, and then Insing's point is just clear as day.
That's exactly my problem. When you're talking about our brain as a system of information, I'm saying that is already a conceptualization. I'm saying that explanation, precedes essence.
Fundamentally, if your brain wasn't a system of information, what would it be a system of? Right? If your mind wasn't a system of information, what would it be a system of? The paradoxical, the illogical, like how would that work?
All of that is conceptualization post one thing, and that is simply self. Everything else after that is conceptualization, and nothing else is necessarily true except for the conceptualizations that come from one thing, which is the self. Okay, everything that follows that is a system of structures that we create to understand patterns per se and other experiences that we may have. And as much as Instinct may dislike this idea, ultimately that's 100% what all of these things are. They are systems and structures that we've created to understand these things, but none of them are necessarily true. And they all harken back to a single stopping point, which is self.
Yeah, that's every time you notion.
What? No. It comes down phenomenologically to the self. As in, how do you?
Hold on, boss. And every time you,
right?
It's not really solipsism because
an ontological analysis does not stop itself. That is solipsism.
Because once you shift the observation to an externality, you present a problem because you have no reason to make the claim there.
Jesus.
Which is why it makes a shift. Which is why
I already gave you the reason.
Which is why it makes a lot more sense to take those experiences and instead of taking an essence precedes explanation, take the explanation as preceding essence and simply take the system as something we use as tools to understand and make use of them and not instead be like slaves
to them.
That
is absurd. That is absurd.
Hold on. I feel like information theory may agree with you on some parts of that, right? Like, for instance, the probabilistic outcome of a system contains information, whether or not we observe it or not observe it, right? So, like,
but I would say that as well. That's irrelevant. The thing he said was that explanation precedes essence. That is factually incorrect.
Except it's legitimately and
ontologically, it's fucking nonsense, dude.
So, if
it's complete nonsense.
Assume an empirical standpoint. If we assume an empirical standpoint,
nonsense?
If we assume an empirical standpoint,
yes, it's nonsense because if you assume that explanation precedes essence, then you reject the theory of evolution. The essence from which you evolved could not have existed before you were here to explain it.
Sure you can, because it's simply a conceptualization of phenomena and experience.
No, but I'm saying, like, no, if that conceptualization is accurate and you did evolve, then you are proposing that that cannot be true.
You understand that that's an understanding of experience, and we can use that.
No, it's a theory about the world. It's a theory about the world.
Oh
the theory says that's actually what happened.
So, this is a beautiful thing about pragmatism.
The theory says that's actually what happened, dude.
Hey. I know what it says. I know what it says.
So what does it say?
The theory of evolution?
Yeah, describe to me what you think it says.
Oh, so let's go back to Bio 1. I took that freshman year.
Yeah, come on.
So the theory of evolution, this wonderful thing that talks about how DNA changes regarding a number of factors, primarily due to selectivity, but there are a couple of random things that pop in and change it. See, there's a lot of contending problems with this. Of course, I believe theory of evolution is the best explanation for genetic diversity. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful theory. It's actually one of my favorites in all of science, because the amount of work you can do with it, from bioengineering to genetic testing, is just fucking gorgeous. However, the idea that I can't actually make use of this theory because I'm saying that explanation precedes essence is absurd, because not only
That's not what I said.
do I,
I didn't say anything of the
because
sort.
see, I can simply make use of the fact that empiricism is a pattern finding method, and that we use empiricism to find these patterns and understand them. And when we do that, we get wonderful outcomes. And
Okay, so yes, I think I see the problem.
surprise,
I saw the problem. Okay, so where do the wonderful outcomes come from?
us.
No. Why do some systems work better than others? Why do some things work and others don't?
Us.
No, obviously not. Come on. Why
Yeah.
is it that when
We
Thomas
are-
Edison was trying to create the light... Shut the fuck up. Why is it that when Thomas Edison was trying to create the light bulb, he had to try 1,000 times?
Why is it that sometimes I like some art more than other art?
You are being so obstinate. Try to answer my
No.
question genuinely.
I am
Try
answering
to
your
be
question.
genuine.
You just
You're
disconnect.
not. Don't
I
use a
am.
fucking analogy. Answer me directly. Alright?
Because he had a specific.
Why did it take 1,000 times? Why aren't all interpretations equally valid?
So, what you're getting at is a wonderful thing, okay? Because there are certain outcomes that we as humans have a desirable thing
Why are certain outcomes correlated to certain methods? For fuck's sake, dude.
Because some work better than others.
Correct. How is that the case?
because we have desires.
No, it's got nothing to do with your fucking desires. Oh my god.
So how
Could
can,
you miss the
how
point
can,
more?
How can the desires change the physical nature of the universe to make certain outcomes better than
Again,
others?
you're already placing your point of observation in an externality.
This fucking guy. Try to answer the question, dude.
So just because I want a light bulb to be better than some other light bulb doesn't mean that that light bulb will be better, right?
You're not understanding the point that I'm making here, because again,
You're not understanding the question.
I am understanding the question, and you're
Well, why
already
don't you
talking about-
rephrase the question? Rephrase the question to me.
You're asking how certain systems can acquire certain outcomes better than other outcomes. Or better than other systems.
No.
Yes, you are.
Yes. That is
Sorry,
right. Yeah, you made a mistake. Yes.
Sorry, I said the wrong word.
Yep, that's correct.
So this is already assuming a number of things. This is assuming, one, that the systems that you're talking about are, oh fuck, okay. This is already assuming, I already missed my bus, so congratulations, you hooked me long enough to get me for another 25 minutes. So this is already assuming that, okay, hold on, I'm gonna be back in 3 minutes, I need to know the next bus is coming.
That's fair. All right.
You made him miss his bus. You fuck.
Dude, I'm proud of myself. He's been fucking putting this conversation off for literally months.
I feel like he does have some points, and like some of them seem kind of okay, but the moment you dig into them, it's like, okay, sure. But...
Yeah, man.
I don't think he's been putting it off. I think he's just been busy with other stuff.
I mean, for sure, but he like...
He doesn't go out of his way to like get on VC much, actually.
But he'll talk a lot of shit during a
Yeah, because
text
he finds
argument.
it fun. But
For sure.
eventually he
But
will
all
when
I'm
he has
saying
time.
is like... Well, I mean, he didn't say that. It's just...
Like,
I'm just saying, I know well enough to know that he's a bit... It's not that he isn't invested, it's just that he will come on when he has time to come on, and he won't go out of his way to organise his life around it at all. But if he's free, he'll get on.
That's fair. I mean, like, asks him to...
But we get on a lot more, because I guess we value it a lot more. Or something.
Either that or we don't have a life.
Like he
That
does
too.
have some good points, like regarding information theory and how like observation doesn't necessarily mean information. You know what I mean? Like, the observation of a probabilistic outcome doesn't necessarily mean certain information is contained within that probabilistic system. So, he does have some decent points.
Back.
I
Okay.
just don't. I don't put
Also-
myself think that indicates the conclusion.
Also, didn't avoid it. Continuously said I'd happy to have it through long text chat, and you kept avoiding that.
Julius. I mean, I didn't avoid that, dude. I just wanted it recorded, and Julius actually already cleared it up. And like, I was very clear with you that the reason that I said no to the text chat was because I wanted it recorded.
Sure, and I already said that I'd happy to have text chat.
Yeah, but text
you
chat
kept
isn't
dodging
recorded.
I know, and I wanted to have text chat
A
discussion.
transcript of test chat, but yes.
Yeah, but
I like text chat a shit ton more. I think it's a better method because I can have long, thought-out responses. It's not just this sort of off-the-fly rhetoric.
well, I think that you have more room to do your mental gymnastics when you're responding in text.
That's completely false.
That is not completely false. You have a lot more time.
Yeah, because you get better, well-thought-out answers in text.
Yeah, but
Either way,
sometimes what that means is that your defense mechanisms produce elaborate, well thought out responses. Wait, where'd he go? No, he's
To be fair, you'd still have a recording if it was in text.
Yeah, not only is it
no, but I'm saying, like, but when he doesn't have as much time, the defense mechanisms can't
we're not
manifest
here to
themselves as
debate
well.
what type of debate we want. Either way, you were talking about truth. Yeah, well, you were asking why certain systems supposedly work better than other systems, and I'm saying that already is on a conceptualization of literally every single fucking word you want to throw in there.
Move forward. Move past that. Answer the question.
I literally just fucking did.
That is No, that's not the answer. I'm asking, where does the effectiveness come from?
Holy fuck, that's me answering it, you.
No, it's not. That doesn't make any sense. What is the method?
Okay, so when you're talking about
what is the method?
Edison,
is it that I believe it?
When you're talking about Edison, all right, doing it 1,001 times. When you're making that claim, what are you doing?
I'm saying that his conceptualization of how it should happen didn't match up with something, and thus that there is something to match up against. And you're saying he was matching it up with himself.
What are you saying? I'm not. What are you saying specifically?
I just told you the reason he needed 1,000 attempts is because he was trying to match it up to one specific one that would work.
You're still egging in a focal point that's not entirely in an individual and a human. Okay, and that's the thing.
You seem to be missing the point, all right?
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm asking you the question, dude. You are missing the point, all right? When I'm saying that he had to do it 1,001 times, all right? I'm saying
I'm familiar with
some methods are better than others, and I'm saying there is a reason for that. I know what the reason is. I'm asking you, and your answer is wrong.
Okay, so again, we are conceptualizing a series of experiences, and we're attaching a number of understanding to those.
Your answer is wrong.
No, we're not making claims about a thing in of itself. Okay, we're conceiving how things are.
You can make claims. You can make claims about the thing in and of itself.
Except you've yet to demonstrate how that is.
I just told you how it is. You think about the things you do have access to.
Except you weren't. You didn't. You've only demonstrated.
I just told you. Listen, you fucking retard. Ready? Ready? God. You think about the thing you do have access to. I said at the start, abstract reasoning is how.
Except abstract reasoning is a series of concepts.
No, but you can reason about more than just your phenomenological self, you fucking wanker.
And those are what concepts?
Ontological.
Right?
Not phenomenological, ontological. What is the ontological? What is the ontological object? not
You
what is the
understand that an
phenomenological
ontology.
object.
You understand that this ontology is something that we have come to as a concept.
No,
correct?
No, not an ontology. Ontology, as in the actual thing we're trying to describe. Jesus fucking Christ.
Ontology as a thing.
Not the description! You keep conflating the description of something and the thing being described.
And you keep putting essence in front of explanation, which is the problem.
You haven't told me why that's wrong. You've just said that it is.
You haven't explained why essence should precede explanation.
I have. I told you. If essence doesn't precede explanation, then the explanation isn't made of anything.
Except the only thing that exists necessarily
it's fucking
is
ridiculous.
The focal point.
You are made of something. Everything is made of something. You're actually made of a bunch of complicated... No, you're made of a bunch of complicated physical systems, not concepts.
Concept and object. How do you feel about that?
No, you conceptualize them. The world exists before you conceptualize it.
Okay, concept and object. How do you like that?
Yeah, the object exists. It's not through concept.
And then every
concept
single
is in your head. Let's be
of
clear.
said thing. And sure, yeah, concept something exists. If you want to go there, and then every single property of said thing is, and of itself,
objectively there.
It's perceived and it's known only conceptually.
No, if it's perceived,
it's only known phenomenologically.
If it's perceived, it's an object that's there.
Which is understood conceptually.
Yes, but it is objectively there. Phenomenologically. And the point is that despite the fact that you understand it, despite that, despite that, it's still phenomenologically apprehended as an object. And I'm saying we can talk about it in that fashion, and you should.
I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself? I think I didn't hear the first word you said.
Okay. Despite the fact that you conceptualize it phenomenologically, despite the fact that you apprehend it phenomenologically, okay, in the phenomenological frame of analysis, it ontologically exists. It is an object. That's how you phenomenologically apprehend it. You cannot say, for instance, that from the phenomenological frame of interpretation, that the phenomenological frame does not in and of itself exist. It has to. You presuppose it in order to use it.
I think we're done here because you've essentially conceded to my point with your phrase.
No, I haven't, dude.
By basing everything what is in the phenomenological experience, you've basically conceded that we're
able to
shift between a period.
What's the difference between the interpretation you make of something and the thing in itself? Okay, because what I said was simple. I said the interpretation I make may always be phenomenological and conceptual. That's how interpretations work. But the thing that I'm interpreting has a structure and an essence which has nothing to do with my phenomenological or conceptual apprehension of it. It has that thing. That's how I apprehend it and conceive of it.
There's no claim to be made. Even if this is true.
I'm not done, dude. I'm not done, alright? I'm not done. And if my conceptual apprehension of the thing is structurally consistent with the thing in itself, then the method works. That's where the efficacy comes from. That is where the effectiveness comes from. That is why there are 1,000.
Except you just explained that every single thing is known conceptually.
You did not answer my question.
As you just explained, everything is known conceptually, which means even the effect of said thing.
Why did you say no? Where did you get no? So shut the fuck up. Where did you get the word no, mate? You just injected your suppositions again. Where did you get the word no? No, shut up. Where did you get the word no? Did I say no?
To have a...
Did I say no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did I say the word knowledge? Yes or no?
Are you saying that you don't have knowledge of said thing?
I'm saying, epistemologically, I distinguish between understanding and knowledge.
Okay, that's fine.
And so should you, dude. So don't use words that I didn't use when you're rephrasing my point. I don't appreciate it.
Okay, So, when you have your phenomenological understanding, and there's that thing in of itself, even supposing that your phenomenological understanding aligned with the thing of itself, the effect of that alignment is also going to be conceptual, which
no, it's going to be phenomenological. It won't be conceptual. There's a distinction there. It's not conceptual. It's phenomenological.
Going to be conceptual, actually, because it's going to
No,
be
it won't be
based on
conceptual. No, it will be based in the world. That's the point. It will be based in your experience. That's how you'll notice the effect. It won't be based in your conception of it.
The effects are going to be based around the concepts you have.
No, the effects are going to manifest phenomenologically, not conceptually, dude.
Sure, that's fine. The point, however, rests in the fact that, one, you are not making any serious claim about, you're not understanding this noumena. And also,
you didn't even answer my question, dude. I asked you a simple question. I asked you why 1,000 attempts were needed for the light bulb. Now listen, I'm not done talking. I'm not done. That was rhetoric.
Tired of
Dude,
trying
that
to
was,
explain
that
this.
was a
I don't know how else to explain
That was
it.
a rhetorical question. Please don't start talking again until I tell you I'm done. All right? I asked you.
Don't know how else to explain this.
Please do not start talking again until I tell you I'm done. Okay? I'm sick of it. Alright? When I asked you that question, I was asking to see if you knew. Now, I know. I told you the answer. The answer is, right, that there is a way things are, and that only one answer is going to correlate with the way things are, and the way things are is a truth which transcends subjective and conceptual apprehensions of it, and it has nothing to do with, listen, the effectiveness of one specific model versus 999 others only comes from the consistency that exists between the conceptual model and the actuality of the world. That is where it comes from.
Okay, so there are certain things in which our experience are supposedly more objective than other things. A wall we can't walk through.
That is such a fucking shit analogy. I've heard this one from Cam, dude.
Fucking Christ, I can't use it then. What's one that? Okay, does Cam use? If I drop a teacup, it's gonna break. Has Cam used that one?
I haven't heard that one.
Okay, thank God. If I drop a teacup, it's gonna break. Okay. The effect is gonna be consistent and repetitive.
Yes, phenomenological.
Right, I can't get around that.
Yes.
Yes, phenomenologically. All right, it's consistent. So therefore, the effect is consistent. That doesn't mean that in of itself there is a thing happening that I can know.
I agree.
Okay?
Like listen.
Exactly.
I agree. Like deductively, that's invalid, but it's a valid induction.
Yes. So,
but it's valid induction. Do you agree with that?
Externality.
Don't you agree that the rule that there's a fucking something's making the cups fall towards the ground and break? That's a good inductive claim, isn't it?
So if we start with
why can't you just say yes or no?
Sure.
Can you just yes?
If we start with if we start with a certain presupposition, sure. Oh shit, got a Kinder match.
Yes, but I said that I'm happy to start with the presuppositions of phenomenological subjectivity as long as when we're doing the analysis we move past them.
But we don't need this externality, which is what our initial argument always hinged on.
I don't accept
but
that. No, but it's already there. It's already there. The fact is, I can demonstrate. You can say we don't need it. I'm saying it's already part of our phenomenological world. We need to account.
Not.
It is. I told you. Here, I accounted for it. That 1,000 attempts, you didn't answer me quickly. You said that the difference between the methods came from you. It does not come from you. It comes from correspondence theory with the actuality.
Okay.
Correspondence theory.
They're having on us.
Correspondence theory, dude.
These effects they're having on us. Okay. We're not talking about an objective reality, okay? We're talking about effects.
Yes, we are. No, we are. No, we're talking about effects they have on our phenomenological experience of the object, which is, I actually got you to concede there was the concept and the object, right? Your phenomenological experience is your perception of the world,
because
right? And it's a perception of the object of the world. The world in
linguistically,
its
it's easier
object.
to use.
No, dude, there's a reason it's easier to use.
Oh my god.
The distinction is appropriate. You're being obstinate.
Have a text conversation with me. It's so much fucking easier.
It's not though. It feels like you're short-circuiting.
Okay. So.
To be fair, it is easier for some people to gather their thoughts through text.
No, I accept
instead
that.
of voices.
I accept that, but I don't think it would be easier to convince him in text.
That's
Because
probably
the thing
because
about
it's easier for you to describe it vocally.
No. I think it's because one of the things that being easier to gather your thoughts allows you to do is that it allows your defense mechanisms to gather their thoughts, if that's how you're reacting. Sound a lot more reasonable.
Except this isn't something that I'm necessarily defensive of. I don't give a shit if this is wrong.
I don't know, dude. It sounds to me like your conceptualization of how truth works is something that you actually think pretty much everybody agrees about, because I've heard you and Cam and stuff talk about it.
I don't think everyone agrees with it. I don't think you understand that. I don't give, if this is wrong,
You
I don't
think
give
it's
a shit
common
about
sense, dude?
No, I don't.
The way you talk about it makes it pretty clear that you do.
Dude, I talk about everything like it's common sense. It's just how I fucking debate. Christ. So do you. Fuck off.
I mean, I tend not to actually talk about it like it's common sense, because I don't think that common sense really exists.
God, you sound like me 3 years ago. That's fine.
Dude.
I don't think I got you. Anyways, the point. See, I don't even know what the fuck I said. What was I saying?
Something about memes.
I don't think I was. The fuck?
No, you weren't. I was just memeing you.
Fuck. Anyways, the point. Yeah, I got no fucking idea what I was saying. I don't even know where I fucking was, so you'll have to take. You'll have to say something.
We were talking about the distinction between the correspondence theory of truth and that explanation of why what's his job? Edison took ages to come up with the light bulb, and
your answer, fucking text chat.
No, but your answer was that like I asked you like
write up a fucking paragraph.
I don't want to write up.
You've got your recording.
Yeah, well, let's just finish it out, right? So like,
I get a bus coming in like 6 minutes.
Yeah, and you can leave in 6 minutes. It'll be fine. So like when we're talking,
I want to get my shit together. Write up a fucking text chat, and I'll respond to it.
He needs to leave before the bus gets there.
Fine, whatever, dude.
Write up a text chat, and then I can respond to it on the bus.
Alright. Lame. Crying face.
Rip.
That was fun. I got him for almost an hour. Yeah. I mean, I thought I sounded a bit worse, honestly. He's been a bit of a dick near the end.
What's that?
Said he was being a bit of a dick near the end.
In what sense?
He kept talking over me. Like I repeatedly asked him to just wait.
Yes, but you also both overtalk each other, so...
I know, but like when I say just like, I'll tell you when I'm done speaking, you know what I mean? Like, and I have to say that to you 3 times and then you still can't do it.
I understand both points. I intuitively dislike I mean, I don't adhere to his model of truth. I didn't adhere to the model of truth he's putting forward anyway, even before this debate. And I understand what he's trying to say, but I instinctively disagree with it.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems unnecessary to me.
Beep.
And I know it's the same theory of truth that Cam adheres to.
Yep, the really silly one.
I still want you to link me the intro to your thesis shit.
Alright, give me a sec.
I won't have time to read it now, but I really want to read it.
Mostly, I think it's just unnecessary. Like, maybe that's an unfair dismissal of Will's points, but I just think they're unnecessary points.
I mean, personally, it doesn't make any sense.
Perhaps, but I just think it functionally comes down to like it just seems overly convoluted way to approach truth. We're always presupposing that things exist, aren't we?
Yeah, I thought so.
Like, we literally are. When anyone says, "Oh no, we're not," I'm like, "So you're saying that?" So if someone says that we're not and that it isn't objective and that it's subjective, it's like, well, existence is entirely subjective, and and we're not even presupposing. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Go stand in front of a car. Go stand out in the road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my analogy. Go step off a cliff, and if you don't die, I guess you're right.
It's just stupid, man.
It's a little harsh. What if they do that?
Well,
They
they don't
won't.
think that would be anything.
They won't do it because they know it's silly. And then for them, because they would have to sit there and justify it to me. Oh, well, I'm not going to do that. Okay, why not? Why would they not do that? If a car's not going to harm you moving at 60 kilometers an hour, why would you not stand in front of it? Because we treat reality as it exists anyway.
Hello. Why is Greg in here?
Because we were making fun of you, Hoovis, and we wanted it on record.
Were you really?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep, we were like, this Hoovis guy's too much of a nerd.
I feel like nerd is like an anti-insult almost.
It kind of is these days.
Says the nerd.
That's the type of logic like a fucking retarded jock would use.
No, dude, that makes perfect sense. It's in your best interests to say that nerd isn't a bad word because you're a fucking nerd.
Okay.
I mean, I feel
like being
get
a nerd is extremely beneficial in like today's society.
I know, that's one of the reasons why I use it. I just used to say like, see a nerd to people. Like, I used to call people nerds all the time, and people are like, well, why are you calling me a nerd? I'm like, because you're a nerd. Like, it's not even an insult. It's just
no, yeah.
I know. I love
you sit here and play video games. That like I would say that to people who sat there and played video games with me all day, and then they're like, well, I'm not a nerd. I'm like, dude, you're literally sitting here playing video games.
No, yeah, it's not an insult. It's just like a state. It's like it's like calling someone a jock.
State of being.
Like, it says more to get insulted by nerd than it does like someone calling you nerd.
Right. The ignorant people are the ones who get insulted.
Or it does say something if you're actually using it as an insult as well.
Well, yeah, arrogant people use it as an insult.
Do they?
Terrence
yes, I'm calling you arrogant.
Insane.
I'm pretty sure Terrence calls people nerds unironically.
You have offended his honor.
I'm just still waiting. I am waiting for the day that Terence approves that sequential logic. That sequential logic is.
That was
exists.
funny.
Non-sequential logic exists. That'll be a
The
fun
universe is a lot older than you, right? The fact is that the data that was there is not necessarily interpreted, but it exists nonetheless. And in the most general sense of that word data, right, which is uninterpreted information, we get to ontological base, which is like, okay, like even if we say there's actually absolutely nothing, that turns out to be data.
All right.
Like look.
All right.
Yes, to
Well,
make
that's
some to be, I would say that means to make sense, an order.
I don't know if that's true with the laws of thought. If they're just
Okay,
presupposition,
well,
it's because that's like saying there's some standpoint you could take where you didn't have the laws of thought, and then you just sort of presume.
it's not like that. It isn't like that.
No, but all we ever have is them. I can't really presume them. They're just sort of just there by their own nature.
It isn't like that, okay? If you are drawing a conclusion, either you presuppose the laws of thought.
I think I would say it like this mode of existence that we currently experience may not necessarily be an accurate model for our interpretations of the world because we only have such a small lens and view of what existence is. Therefore, we may not have any ability to even qualify a state of existence in the first place. Therefore, it may not even be fair to call myself an agent or an I or a subject or a thinking.
That's exactly, you know what I mean? Doesn't that always presuppose some kind of existence, though?